Hi, I'm Miss Wani Cecilia, and today's lesson for Banking Theory, Law and Practice is Unit 2 of the course. All right, so this is what we're looking at, money markets. So we'll start by looking at the meaning for money markets, then we'll look at the definition. All right, so a money market is a mechanism that deals with the lending and borrowing of short-term funds. Then it can also be said to be a market where instruments of high liquidity and short-term are sold. So by liquidity here, the word liquidity refers to the ease with which an asset or security can be converted into ready cash without affecting its market price. All right. So by money market, the word market doesn't necessarily mean it should be a physical place where the lenders and the borrowers of the short-term funds should meet, because it can also be done online, like through mail and the like. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the lenders and the borrowers of the short-term funds should have a specific place, like an infrastructure where the lending and borrowing of short-term funds should be done. All right. So now let's look at a definition by this Arthur Crowther. So according to Crowther, the money market is the collective name given to various firms and institutions that deal in the various grades of mere money. So right, let us now look at the objectives of money market. So number one objective is to provide a parking place to employ short-term surplus funds. So the money market provides a parking place to employ short-term surplus funds. So the surplus funds here, we mean the excess funds that institutions may have in the market. So this market provides a parking place to employ these short-term excess funds. Then number two objective is to provide room for overcoming short-term deficits. So money market also provides room as an objective to overcome short-term shortages. By the word deficit here may mean shortages. Then the next objective is to enable the central bank to influence and regulate liquidity in the economy through its intervention in these markets. So like you know, the central bank is one of the participants in money market. All right. So the central bank mm, um, will help to influence and regulate liquidity in the economy through its intervention in this market. By liquidity here, like I explained in the first slide, liquidity refers to the ease with which an asset or security can be converted into ready cash without its market price being affected. All right. Then the fourth and last objective here that we have is to provide a reasonable access to users of short-term funds to meet their requirements quickly, adequately, and at reasonable cost. All right, let us now look at the features of money market. So the first one is constituents. Number two, dealers of money market. Number three, near money assets. Number four, no need of personal contact. Number five, short-term funds. Number six, heterogeneous market. Number seven, fluctuations. Number eight, different from capital market. All right, so let's look at those in detail. I'll just move this a bit down below here so that you can see. So constituents. Money market has three constituents, which includes number one, borrowers and lenders. Number two, it deals in short-term credit instruments. And the last one, it has a price in the form of interest rate. So by borrowers and lenders in money market, the borrowers include manufacturers, traders, speculators, as well as government institutions. Then the lenders include commercial banks, central banks, and non-banking financial intermediaries. All right. Then it deals with short-term credit instruments. So here, the instruments that are dealt with in a money market are of short term. That means they can range from a day to 6 months. Then it has a price in the form of interest rate. So the price of the instruments that are traded on this market, the price is of its interest rate. All right. Then the dealers of money markets. Number two characteristic. Dealers of money market, generally the markets are participated by lenders and borrowers. The borrowers in the money market are manufacturers, traders, speculators, and government institutions. Generally, the lenders in the money market are commercial banks, central banks, and non-banking financial intermediaries. So just like I explained from the first constituent that the money market has, it's the lenders and it's the dealers of the money market, which are the lenders as well as the borrowers. Number three characteristics of money market is near money assets. So money market deals in short-term financial instruments which are called as near money assets. So these assets are liquid and readily marketable. These assets are useful and against which the funds can be borrowed from the money market. These near money assets include bills of exchange and short-term government securities. All right, number four characteristic is no need of personal contact. So like I explained from the definition of the money market, it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical place where the lenders and the borrowers should meet to transact, because it can also be done through the internet. So money market is not restricted to a particular place. It is a place where the borrowers and lenders meet each other. But in normal practice, it is not necessary that the borrowers and lenders should have personal contact with each other at a specified place. The parties may carry on their deals through telephone or mail. Therefore, the money market relates to arrangement for transfer of funds between lenders and borrowers. All right. Number five characteristics. I'll just move this down below. Short-term funds. So money market provides funds to the needy party for short-term period. The borrowers can obtain funds for period ranging from a day to 6 months. So this is what it means by short term. It's not long term where the borrowers can obtain funds for a period ranging like for 2 years or so. You know, in money market, the instruments traded are of short term. So the borrowing of funds is of short term. No wonder it's a day to 6 months. Right. So heterogeneous market. What this means is that a money market is like a main market. Then it has sub-markets. So it's like it's the main system, then it has other subsystems in it. So heterogeneous market, the money market consists of several sub-markets. Each market deals with a specified short-term credit instrument, for example, bills market, core money market. All right. So these are two examples of sub-markets for the money market. All right, then fluctuations. Money markets change with time. The functions of money markets in different countries are broadly the same, but the financial institutions and the instruments vary considerably from country to country. So fluctuations here, it means changing. No wonder the institutions and instruments that are on the money market are different from country to country because it's fraction. Yeah. All right. Then the last characteristic is different from capital market. So a money market is different from a capital market. In a money market, The borrowing and lending of money is of short term, while the capital market is long term. So money market is a market for short term credit, and capital market is a long term market. It is different on the basis of maturity period. Money market deals with short-term lending and borrowing funds, whereas the capital market deals with long-term borrowing and lending of funds. So that was the last characteristic for money markets. So now let us look at central banking. In the first unit, we looked at central banking, central bank banks. It wasn't very much in detail. So now we're going to look at it a bit more in detail. So let us look at what a central bank is once again. A central bank is an apex institution in the banking structure of a country. It supervises, controls, and regulates the activities of commercial banks and acts as a banker to them. It also acts as a banker, agent kind advisor to the government in all financial and monetary matters. All right. So a central bank is also a custodian of the foreign balances of the country and is responsible to maintain the rate of exchange fixed by the government and manages exchange controls. So this central bank, like Bank of Zambia in Zambia, is the bank that is responsible to maintain the rate of exchange and fixed by the government and manages exchange controls. So, like for instance, the exchange rate for currencies like how much kwacha for dollar, it's this bank that um, maintains the rate of exchange fixed by government. All right. Okay. So the definition of central bank, we have an author here, Decock, who gives a very comprehensive definition of what a central bank is. So, according to Decock, a central bank is a bank which constitutes the apex of the monetary and banking structure of its country and which performs best it can in the national economic interest. All right, so when you're asked to define what a central bank is in an exam, by this author, you have to give the definition word by word, just like this author Decock defines the central bank. Right, this is a common exam question. Please take note. We'll move on and look at the functions. Just move this down below. Functions of central bank. Number one, the regulation of currency in accordance with requirements of business and the general public, for which purpose is to grant for which purpose it is granted either the sole right or not issue or at least a partial monopoly thereof. Right. So the central bank has this function to regulate the currency in accordance with the requirements of business as well as the general public. Right. Just put this back there. And the second function is the performance of general banking and agency services for the state. All right. So general banking here, just the general banking of banks, taking money to the bank and the like for safekeeping. So the performance of general banking and agency services for the state banks. The central bank also has a function of acting as an agent for for its clients, right? Of which the clients are the commercial banks, right? Okay. So the third function, the custody of cash reserves of the commercial banks. So here, the central bank is the custodian of cash reserves for other banks. Like in Zambia, Bank of Zambia uh, can be the custodian for the reserves of other banks like Barclays Bank, um, Bank, and the like. Right. And then the fourth, the custody and management of the nation's reserves of international currency. So apart from being a custodian for reserves of commercial banks, central bank also is the custodian as well as uh, manager of national reserves of international currencies like these foreign currencies, dollars, pounds, euros, and the like. All right. Then the fifth is the granting of accommodation in the form of free discounts or collateral advances to commercial banks, bills, brokers, and dealers, or other financial institutions, and the general acceptance of the responsibility of lender of last resort. Right. The next function is the settlement of clearance between the banks. That's another function that central bank performs. Right. Then the last one is the control of credit in accordance with the needs of business and with a view to carrying out a broad monetary policy adopted by the state. Right. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the capital market. We've already looked at what the money market and we've differentiated it with the capital market. Okay, so now we'll look at this in detail and look at the differences in more detail, right? So a capital market is simply any market where a government or a company, usually a corporation, can raise money, which is capital, to fund their operations and long-term investments. Selling bonds and selling stock are two ways to generate capital. Thus, bond market and stock market are considered capital market. So, in other words, in simpler words, we can say a capital market is a market where borrowing and lending of funds on a long-term basis is that. All right. Okay. So now let us look at the differences between money market and capital market in more detail. So the first difference between a money market and the capital market is that a money market deals in short-term funds, whereas capital market deals in long-term funds. Number two, money market, the dealer is central bank, whereas in capital market, it is controlled by the government. All right. Central bank is a bank owned by the government. So here, central bank is only the leader. Sorry, not the dealer. The leader is central bank. But here, it is controlled by the government. So number three, there is no fixed place as it is spread through the country. So there is no specific place to say this is a money market. No, it is spread throughout the country. Then for a capital market, it has a fixed place called stock market or stock exchange. Like for instance, in Zambia, we have Lusaka Stock Exchange. That's a stock market. All right. Number four difference is that with the money market, it is the interest rate that decides the supply and demand of short-term funds. Then with capital market, it is the return on capital, that is profit, which decides supply and demand for capital. So here, when the investment is done on the money market, um, it is the interest rate that decides on supply and demand for the short-term funds. But with the capital market, it is the return that is gotten on the capital that is invested that decides on supply and demand for capital. All right, number five, checks, bills, promissory notes are the instruments dealt in money market. In capital markets, it's the shares, debentures, as well as government bonds that are debt. Number 6, money market provides working capital, whereas capital market provides fixed capital. Working capital is fluctuation in nature, whereas fixed capital is fixed. It does not change. All right. Okay, so let us now look at the roles of capital market. Number 1, mobilization of savings and acceleration of capital formation. Number 2, promotion of industrial growth. Number 3, raising of long-term capital. Number 4, ready and continuous markets. Number 5, proper channelization of funds. Number 6, provision of a variety of services. Okay, all right. Okay. Um, Let us now look at the importance of capital market. Number 1, it is only with the help of capital markets long-term funds are raised by the business community. All right, so that's one of the importances of capital market. Number 2, it provides opportunity for the public to invest their savings in attractive securities, which provide a higher return. The next importance is a well-developed capital market is capable of attracting funds even from foreign country. That is, foreign capital flows into the country through foreign investment. Just make that there. The capital market provides an opportunity for the investing public to know the trend of different securities and the conditions prevailing in the economy. The next importance is capital market enables the country to achieve economic growth as capital formation is promoted through the capital market. Then the next is capital market can predict the changes in the market and accordingly undertake suitable portfolio investments. All right. Okay. So that's a continuation there. The next importance is existing companies, because of their performance, will be able to expand their industries and also go in for diversification of their activities due to the capital market. So here, companies may diversify, meaning they can venture in other lines of businesses. All right. The next importance is capital markets is the barometer of the economy by which you are able to study economic conditions of the country, and it enables the government to take suitable action. The next is capital market provides opportunities for different institutions such as commercial banks, mutual funds and investment trusts to earn a good return on the investing funds. All right. A stock exchange, we just look at the definition here. A stock exchange or share market, so stock exchange is also known as a share market, is a place where people meet to buy and sell shares of company stock. Some stock exchanges are real places like the New York Stock Exchange. Others are virtual places. So in Zambia, we have the Lusaka Stock Exchange. So here, a stock exchange is established for the purpose of assisting, regulating, and controlling the business for buying, selling, and dealing in securities. All right, so let us now look at the functions for the stock market. Number 1 is raising capital for business. So the stock exchange provides companies with the facility to raise capital for expansion through selling shares to the investing public. All right, let's move this back here. Number 2, investment of savings in purchase of securities. So provides a market for the trading of securities to individuals and organizations seeking to invest their savings or excess funds through the purchase of securities. Number 3, function of stock exchange is facilitating company growth. So companies view acquisitions as an opportunity to expand product lines, increase distribution channels, increase its market share, or acquire other necessary business assets. Business combination agreements through the stock market is one of the simplest and most common ways for a company to grow by acquisition. Right. A continuation there for the functions of stock exchange. So number 4, management records of company. So by having a wide and varied scope of owners, uh, companies generally tend to improve on their management standards and efficiency in order to satisfy the demand of shareholders and the more tight rules for public corporations imposed by public stock exchanges and the government. Therefore, it is said that public companies tend to have better management records than privately held companies. All right. Okay. So number 5 is creating investment opportunities of small investors. So as opposed to other businesses that acquire huge capital expenditure, investing in shares is open to both the large and small stock investors because a person buys a number of shares they can afford. Therefore, the stock exchange provides the opportunity for small investors to own shares of small companies as large investors. Number 6, government capitalizing for development projects. So governments at various levels may decide to borrow money in order to finance based projects such as sewage and water treatment works or housing estates by selling another category of securities known as bonds. These bonds can be raised through the stock exchange, whereby members of the public buy them, thus loaning money to the government. All right, that's a continuation. So we have barometer of the economy. Just move this down below here. So at the stock exchange, share prices rise and fall depending largely on market forces. So share prices tend to rise or remain stable when companies in the economy in general show sign of stability and growth. Uh, so when there is a sign um, that there is no growth in the economy, uh, there will be a change in the share prices. So an economy recession, depression, or financial crisis could eventually lead to stock market crash. Therefore, the movement of share price and in general of the stock indexes can be an indicator of the general trend in the economy. The word trend that means a general change. Number 8, provide physical location for trade of securities. So stock exchange provides a physical location for buying and selling securities to investors that have been listed for trade for trading on that exchange. All right. Number 9, establish rules and regulations of trading of shares. Stock exchange establishes rules for fair trading practice and regulates the trading activities of its members according to those rules. So imagine if there were no rules and regulations on this market, what would have been happening? There would have been a lot of difficulties with transacting. All right, continuation there. Number 10, fair. The exchange assures that no investors will have an excess advantage over other market participants. Number 11, effective market. So this means that orders are executed and transactions are settled in the fastest possible way in the stock exchange. Number 13, price. At any point in time, the price of previously issued stock is determined by flow of supply and demand. It fixes the price of securities according to fundamental law um, of the offer and the demand. Number 14 gives the right to shareholders to vote in the general meetings. So it permits for the investors to have a political power in companies in which he invests its savings due to acquisition of ordinary shares gives him the right, among other things, to vote in the general shareholders meeting of the company in question. All right, so that is all for today. Thank you so much.